What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. Hype. Oh boy. Listen, I'm not gonna talk about the rift, the debate, the civil war, if you will. Some people are calling that civil war, but I want to talk about some Sony stuff, because it seems that Sony hates Naughty Dog. That's not a good thing to have your parent hate the favorite child, because Naughty Dog, for all intents and purposes, is the favorite child of the PlayStation family, if you will. They're the darling. You know, they put out those bangers. At least they used to. And I don't think I've ever known them to waste years and millions of dollars. Let's just say probably tens of millions of dollars. Close to hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know. But I don't know that they have been a studio to do that. It seems like they were following orders, and then the orders changed because their boss got fired. I mean, retired early. Yeah, so Sony's like, what have you done for us lately? Let's look at the books. Oh my gosh. When's the last time y'all put out something? How much money have we given you since then? What do you got now? These are all questions they ask, I'm sure. And they're like, we did a demo for the profit. I guess the demo went good because they're still working on the game. Or they're not really going to be public about their closing down studios and layoffs and stuff. I will assume that there will be layoffs at Naughty Dog. Definitely going to be layoffs at Bungie. Come on, son. Yeah. I mean, once again, PlayStation is disintegrating before our eyes in slow motion, and these ponies and donkey unicorns are not admitting it. They don't want to admit it, and they are in denial. Meanwhile, they're talking about this whole Jez Corden Civil War thing that happened, or is happening, but they're not talking about, oh yeah, Jason Schreier reported this, so it's got to be true, because what he said before about taking the games off of PC is true, and they're talking about that. So why aren't they talking about this? They don't want to talk about it because it's bad PlayStation news, and they don't want to taint the perception of PlayStation being the best. Of course, we know they're not. They're evil. Are they the most evil corporation? I think so. I think out of the three, they are the most evil. Nintendo's number 2, Xbox is number 1. I'm talking about recent events like Xbox. Well, if we're just talking about Xbox, yeah, Xbox has been pretty cool. Their whole existence, they haven't been too idiotic. I mean, except for the last 2 years, it was a little rough. But we all know why that happened is because people say, "Oh, it's Amy Hood and Satya Nadella." Yes, but what is happening, what was happening, and what is happening is that the industry as a whole feels that the growth is over. They've capped out at how many people buy consoles. Was it 150 million to 200 million, maybe? Something like that. And so they're like, okay, so we either go to find new acquisitions, which is what Asha's job is and what Phil said, or we monetize our existing fan base. Phil said this years ago before he left. Xbox decided to go get more acquisitions via putting their games where they shouldn't be. Okay, that's better than raising prices, right? Sony's not raising prices. I'm sorry. Sony's not going after Xbox fans to acquire more users. They're raising prices. That's what they chose to do. Phil laid it out and said, look, we could do this or we could do that. We just going to try to find more people. That's what he said. That's what they did. We didn't like it too much. Now, Asha Sharma's out here like, yo, this is how we fix it. And once again, it is perception. He had the right idea, but he went about it the wrong way. And I think there's a balance between what Sony is doing and what Xbox is doing. There's a happy medium in the middle there. Sometimes medium. So you know, whatever, you know, he's not there anymore, and that's fine. But he did his Thug Dizzle, Sarah did her Thug Dizzle. Without them, we wouldn't be where we are, in the fortunate position that Xbox is right now. We wouldn't be. So, and now Asha has the controls, and she's gonna run everybody over. I think. But just think about it, right? You working at a studio, y'all the best. Y'all are the best. And then the parent company's like, yeah, we're not happy with what's going on. But like, what you talking about? We the best. We the best. Remember, Herman Holtz was leader of the toxic positivity movement that caused Concord's downfall, demise, destruction, failure. The greatest failure in video game history was because of Herman Holtz's inability to see the reality of the situation, and his idea that he could bring the promise of live service to his boss at that time, Jimothy Ryan, who said, yeah, everybody's doing live service games, we're gonna do 29 of them, and one of them sticks, then we're good. It's like, that's the stupidest. How do you think that's a good idea? How much money are you gonna spend on this? And just what? Why don't you take all that money from all those studios and make one studio? You say, okay, who wants to be a part of this new studio? And get volunteers, and then hire some people and build a studio and put all the money there. And then that game would probably maybe blow up because you put so much into it. And it's I can't even say that. I don't know, because they put a bunch into Concord, and that failed. And I think it failed because it was, I hate to say it like this, but it was kind of tainted with the DEI fragrance. There you go. And people just want to have fun. And when you put your agendas on the games, then it distracts from the actual game. Even though the game might have been competent and cool and good and a solid game, the negativity from the DEI stuff, or the messaging, or your whatchamacallit, politics, if you will, it's stronger than how good a game is. Like, your game could be the best game, but if it's the wrong message, or you say the wrong thing, you upset the wrong type of people, which is just a fact of how we live today. This is our society today. A bunch of soft people get upset when the wind blows. You gotta realize that it's part of the business. You be like, okay, well, we can't say that. Or you could be one of those studios who don't care and be like, we're gonna say what we want to say, buy it or not buy it. And there's people in this society who are like, yay, back to old school ways of not caring and being tough and above the bootstraps and blah blah blah, eat toothpaste for dinner and all the bad stuff that, it makes you a stronger person in the I never had toothpaste for dinner, at least I don't remember. I did have chicken hearts and livers for dinner. Not the best tasting, but food. I still don't like liver to this day. I'll tell you the story. I was in South America, Peru. I believe I was in Aguascalientes. Yep, that's where I had it. And I had some alpaca tenderloin. Well, that's what they said it was. It wasn't that. It was alpaca liver. It had to be, because it tastes like liver. And you know when you're a kid, right? And you eat something like, I don't like that anymore, I'm not gonna have it ever again. It's imprinted in your brain. I know what liver tastes like. I had it a couple times when I was a kid. Didn't like it. Still don't like it. I know it's super good for you, especially if you're exercising muscles. It's really good for you. I just don't like it. I mean, if it's like super beneficial, which it's supposed to be, I mean, I might eat it once in a while just to, because it ain't all about eating tasty stuff. Sometimes you got to eat stuff that's just good for you. But I was on vacation. I'm on the other side of the world trying to eat exotic foods. I'm like, I never ate an alpaca animal. Let me have some of that. That's a lie. Like a couple days before, I had alpaca lasagna. It was delicious. Come on, son. I was like, It was tasty. It was so tasty. I was like, nah, that's tasty. Whatever this is, alpaca liver, you keep that. I was disappointed. I didn't even eat the whole thing. I was like, okay, it was a little undercooked too. I was like, I mean, I'm sure that's how they cooked it or whatever, but I was like, nah, bro. They tried to trick me. Gotta watch out for the scammers out there. They be like, oh, this stupid American doesn't know what a liver is from a tenderloin. But I know what a liver tastes like. Anyway, I'm sorry. A little bit of a distraction. But my point was, I have no idea what my point was. But yeah, liver's gross. Anyway. Marathon. Concord. Was it Break-In? Now it's called Break-In. Gang $, what's it called? Fair Games $, aka Break-In, aka Game Concord 3. Man, I tell you what, PlayStation's look, they try to change the name because they know that the name is a negative connotation. Besides the fact that people are like, yeah, this game is trash. And that was the, that's why Jade Raymond left, because she was like, oh, y'all don't like my game? I'm out. Psh, y'all paid me anyway. I don't need to be here. Beep, boop, boop. She said, left a trail of smoke. And so I'm like, how you think, what was it, a year? 2 years? I mean, maybe they can fix it in 2 years. I don't know. They say, oh, it looks more like it looks more like the Division now. I'm like, that's really far away from what they showed. Like these angst, millennial, Gen Zers, Gen Alphas, I don't know, young people running around stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. I don't even know if it's like a Robin Hood thing, but whatever. I'm like, man, y'all. So Break-In, that's what it's called now. I mean, Fair Games, not a bad title, but it's just the what they showed was like, nah, bro. it was like a nah, bro game. And now Break-In, is it gonna make it? Is it gonna be better now? I mean, they never showed gameplay in the first place, so whatever. But I don't know. This State of Play seems they gotta hit it out the park, and they have not been doing that. And they're gonna show Wolverine again, and I've seen all I need to see when the last time they showed it. I was like, okay, yeah, that looks cool. I mean, but it's like, the fact that Wolverine has a limited set of kind of skills, that makes sense. He's an animal, and he just cuts people up and stuff, and it's like, how, I don't know, man. That Wolverine is inherently a harder character to make a game out of than Spider-Man. And like the first Spider-Man 2018 was cool. Second Spider-Man 2, not so much. Everybody says the consensus is Spider-Man 2 didn't like it. First one, it was cool. That was great. Miles Morales, probably the best. So I'm like, if you messing up Spider-Man, how much faith do I have in Insomniac to make Wolverine better than Spider-Man? You can't, because you literally can't, because Spider-Man is literally a better character. And that's coming from a Wolverine fan. I was a Wolverine fan before I was a Spider-Man fan. I collected them at the same time, but actually I think I did. No, you know what? No, I think I collected Wolverine first, because I got Uncanny X-Men 2. It was when Alan Silvestri was doing, Mark Silvestri. I mixed them up. Mark Silvestri was doing the art at that time, and that was before Jim Lee started. And I would say they were similar art styles, but Mark Silvestri is a little bit more loose with his lines, and Jim Lee he's tighter. He's definitely like, okay, that's Jim Lee. That's Jim Lee art. That's the Jim Lee lady. Sorry for the tangent on the art, but so I was like, yeah, Wolverine's cool because he's short like me, and and he's got anger issues like me, and then he goes snicked, and he goes slip slap slap. And when he was fighting Daredevil, I was like, that's kind of cool. I think that was Frank Miller actually did that one. I was like, oh, I have that one too. And I honestly, when I was younger, I collected comics for the art because I was an artist. I was drawing a lot more. that was before I woke up to the realization that Disney artists, because I wanted to be a Disney animator, Disney artists are get treated like trash. They was like, first you got to go and you'll probably be like intern, right? And then you got to do in-betweens. I was like, in-betweens? And then, I figured out, I find out what in-between is like. Oh, they're in between the frames. Oh, okay. In between the keyframes. Okay, sure. Sounds monotonous. Yeah, it does. And then I heard all the stories about how they treat their artists and stuff like that. And I was like, that's going to make me hate drawing real quick. I mean, maybe not. But I definitely transitioned to music. Art is like, you never forget how to draw, but if you don't draw for a while, you stay at a certain level. So I think I might get back to it. I don't know if I want to try physical art, like paper, pen, and pencil, pen, paper. Because I have a drawing tablet. It's basically a touchscreen monitor that you plug into whatever, and so it's cool. And I do need to practice on that because it is a different beast drawing on digital drawing versus pen and paper. I have more control definitely on pen and paper because that's where I grew up doing. So, but anyway, I was thinking about actually doing part of the intro that I'm gonna do animated, a couple of animated clips in there. But I'll have to see because I want to do kind of an original video for the intro, but it's gonna take a while, and I don't want it to take too long. So, and also today I started rewriting the verse, and I'm about 80. I think I need 4 or 5 more bars. But what tends to happen, like with me, I'll write, and I'll have a nice flow, and then you gotta switch it up because it's very hard to rhyme the same kind of pairs for 32 bars. Because you literally run out of words that rhyme that you could think of. I can always whip out a rhyming dictionary, which I remember this artist I was messing with. He was like, "Yo, I got a rhyming dictionary." I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, I was just doing it from my brain, but sure, I guess that works too. Or a thesaurus or whatever. But I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's a tool. I haven't done that yet. I don't think I will do it because the way that I'm writing it, I have to reference a bunch of knuckleheads on the internet. So on my old verse, sorry for the tangent, man. On my old verse, I had Dreamcast Guy, I had D-Bash, I think I had a reference to Reforge. In this one, and I also had a reference to Jim Ryan, I think. In this one, I can't remember what it was because I just wrote it this morning, so I haven't memorized it. So I don't remember what the reference was, but I don't think I had D-Batch in. No, I don't have D-Batch in it yet, and I don't have. Do I have Reforge? I gotta have somebody in there because I know I have a reference, and I was like, oh yeah. But it's a quick reference, so I can't remember. But it's like one line basically, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. And the way that my rhyme structure is in this one, at least in the first half, is like it's dense. It's very dense, so you might have to listen to it a couple times to get all of. But anyway, sorry, a little behind the scenes, but. And it's a little different because it's like I'm from New York, right? So we have a distinct kind of flow, kind of like Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I used to listen to them a lot. Mos Def, Black Star, Talib Kweli. Although I'm more on Mos Def side than Talib Kweli. Tribe Called Quest, but I think I'm a little more advanced. Not advanced. People say that I sound like Q-Tip, but Q-Tip is. I think he's a better producer than he is a lyricist, basically. And his flow is cool because he has a cool voice, but I think his flow it's not remedial. I don't want to diss him because he's like, he's one of them dudes that like, yo, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be doing this. Him and Pete Rock and all these dudes. But I feel like I'm a little bit different, let's just say that, because I've listened to different styles, and I listened to KRS-One, and he's like one of the goats. He's like one of the old school, and he has some good messaging, but his flow is just, he's not like Meth. Method Man, his flow is like flawless. His everything he does is like, psh, I can listen to that, and his lyrics is nice. So it's like, all right, cool. Him and Raekwon was nice too. I like Ghostface. You know, there's a couple of Wu-Tang Clan members that I really dig, but some of them are like, all right, they're a little too like freaking in the trenches for me. But you know, whenever you come out with something, somebody's gonna compare you to Familiar or something, you know, whatever. And like the last track I put out, Sand, somebody said it sounded like Lupe Fiasco and Joe, and I was like, I'll take it, because that's not, you know, that's good, because Joe was nice. I like Joe. Joe was a really good artist back in the day. And Lupe Fiasco, I got no problem with him. Kick, skate, whatever that one calls that one song with Neptunes with Pharrell. That was dope. But anyway, I'm sorry for the super duper tangent, but I am gonna infuse some more music stuffs in these talks that we have, these beautiful talks that we have, because you know, music is a thing that all of us listen to. Maybe not the genre, but you know, music is universal, you know. So I'm gonna always be doing music. You know, that's just the thing. And I'm gonna always try to write. I need to get more on it, because I've been lacking in my macking, for lack of a better terminologies. And I realize it, and I'm like, yeah, man, I just need to just do it. I need to, you know. I used to, at one point when I was working on Fire with Fire, that was the first game I did music for. I did a beat a day for, was it a month? It might have been a little bit more than a month. And so I ended up with like 40 something tracks for that song, for that game. And didn't do that well, obviously. I believe it's still on Steam. You can go check it out if you want to, but it's a tower defense game, so you know, I don't know if that's your bag, but and the game that I'm doing right now, which is Grashers, it's I don't even remember how many tracks I got in it. It's got to be at least 30 on there already. But I've been doing like you know tracks, whatever, and then I said, you know what? At one point I said I'm gonna switch to some lo-fi hip hop, you know, because I like that. You know, it's kind of it's a vibe, if you will, and it gets you in a certain, like, you could just throw it on if you're just doing work or something, or you editing or something that you don't need to, you know, or not video editing, but like if you're working in Blender or something like that, you just need some music in the background, just do that, and it gives you, you know, you can sit there for 3 hours listening to that stuff, and it's like nice, and I'm like, you know, that's dope. And so I like making it because it's kind of easy, because it's very repetitive. The nature of those tracks are repetitive, so you don't have to be crazy move. You know, it doesn't have to have this crazy movement. It just has to have the right frequencies, the right movements, and it just has to be a good loop, so that it doesn't feel too monotonous. Enough movement so that you get the zzz and get back to it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm sorry for the tangents, but you know, music. But anyway, like I said, I started writing it, and I'm happy with what I'm doing so far. So I'm gonna continue to work on it. I'm gonna start. Well, I did start on the video element of it, but I think I want to do some storyboards, and you know, I want to give y'all quality. I just don't want to take little video game parts and then throw it in and then edit it, and then yeah, that's the video. I'm like, that's like, I'm not saying it's lazy, but I want to do a little bit extra. So if I do that, then it'll be a little bit more than just having video of, you know, cutscenes edited together and with the song over it. Yeah, I'm gonna have it incorporated into my overall video. So yeah, I think that's what I'm like, right now I'm thinking about it and I'm formulating ideas, and I'm like, okay, I could do it that way. Okay, there's certain things that I've seen that give me a little bit of inspiration, like, okay, that would be dope. All right, and it's not super impossible, because I've already done technically what I've done it before in another video, so I know that I can do it. It's just a matter of building the assets and kind of putting it all together. And the song is less than 2 minutes, and you'd be like, oh, that's short. it's not that short when you're doing CG, because if you're doing a 10-second or a 20-second, that's only 20 seconds, and you got to fill in the rest of the time. So it's tricky, but I'm gonna try to work at it so that I can get it done in a timely fashion. But once again, I'm working. It's gonna be good. I'm very optimistical. But anyway, I'm sorry. We supposed to be talking about video games and how Sony's bad and all that stuff. But whatever. We talked about it. We talked about how I can't even remember. It's so much bad Sony news that it's ridiculous. It's crazy. But anyway, I appreciate your answer. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think about kind of all of the recent bad Sony news, and how the media is not really saying stuff and blah blah blah, and the whole Naughty Dog thing. It's like, yo, how can the darling of the PlayStation Studio bullpen be like, yo, and Sony sitting them looking at what's going on? I mean, you already expect that of. I mean, they had that discussion with Bungie. They say, yeah, we had to take a loss. We had to take a loss. We paid $3.6 billion, right? Plus another $1 billion, I think they said, to retain talent. And then they fired all the talent. So, oops, there goes $1 billion. So, is that what it is, or was the 3.6? Is that $1 billion included in the 3.6? See, that's my question. Either way, they lost $1 billion, plus they lost almost another $1 billion, the 7.65. So they almost lost $2 billion while spending $3.6 billion. So does that add up? Or you can say, okay, well, you have to minus the 765 million from the 3.6 billion. So it's 2.9 billion minus the so it's 1 point, let's just say 1.8 billion. That's how much they lost on Bungie so far, because they fired all the people, and so much for retaining talent, because they all fired. Luke Smith gone. The other guy with the cars gone. I think he's gone. I don't know. But anyway, I appreciate. I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Till the wait.